Sorry about that. Hold a request from James Aldridge on behalf of HCH Construction and Properties LLC for the purpose of zoning change from General Retail District to PD3 Plan Development District Number 3 for a townhome development and establishing PD development regulations for the subject property on a 0.60 acre parcel of land described as Ford Highland Edition, Block 10, lot part of Lot 3.6 acre, City of Mount Pleasant, Titus County, Texas, and generally located at the northeast corner of West 17th Street and North Johnson Avenue, and take any action as necessary.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And here's a location map, just like you've indicated. It's on the northeast corner of West 17th Street and North Johnson Avenue. Probably recognize where this is. You've got the Sonic that's located here. I believe this is Popeye's Chicken, Popeye's Chicken here. You got some residential in here as well, and Pilgrim's Bank and some other banks. I think credit unions down here, dental office as well. So with the location, just want to go into the zoning. When we take a look at that location, and we're talking about several different uses. This is primarily right up in here, general retail. And when you go across the street, you have the Civic Center, of course, and Chick-fil-A. So that kind of gives you a little context of where everything is here. But also wanted to point out that we do have some commercial property also that's to the south and to the west. Now these, although it's zoned commercial, these are residential homes here. So we have residential homes here. This is neighborhood services, but we also have residential homes here, but a couple of offices, dental office and doctor offices that are located in this area. So we do have some residential that goes back over this way. Hospital obviously is up north here as well too. Kind of give you a little context for that. And essentially what the applicant is looking to do in this case is to provide townhomes on the property. Once again, the property is zoned general retail. A townhome product is something that we do not have in our zoning regulations, so that's the purpose of requesting a planned development district to move forward with this. And essentially what they're looking to do is to create 8 lots that are going to be 20 foot wide by about 125 deep. And these will be, like I said, single family attached homes. That's a townhome product. So these will be simple fee or fee simple title for each unit. The applicant is also providing parking that'll be to the rear. You've got a garage that'll be located here, and then they'll have another parking space here. So it'll be what we consider tandem parking. Fire lane is going to be located here, so you have plenty of room to back out, be 24 feet here. And additionally, because you do have businesses that are located in this area to the north and to the east, the applicant's going to install a wrought iron fence along these property lines here with some landscaping, some trees and some other shrubs and so forth to help with the visibility or the aesthetics, I guess, of this area right here also. Additionally, oh, there we go. All right. What the applicant is looking to do is to have the product here to be some stone located along the wainscot here. You're going to have some brick as well as some stucco and an interchanging of these to give some, that way it doesn't look the same, doesn't look like it's a flat image. And so he wants to be able to provide some visibility there. Also within here, you're going to have this will be recessed in where you have some patio as well on the back side. You have a porch as well here, patio on the back side where these will be recessed in here also. This looks like it'll be brick all the way across on the rear side of the property, but you'll have the differentiation in the front facades on the along West 17th Street. with some gabled roofs as well to kind of give some offset on there. Now, the one thing about the PD, as I mentioned, it's flexible zoning. And the purpose of that is, in the PD, the purpose of a PD is to create a zone, or create zoning. It's flexible zoning, and it allows for the ability to be able to come in and take a look at a product such as a townhome product, which is not regulated by our regulations, but the PD provides regulations in the ordinance itself. And so those are PD regulations that are specific to this property and will tie down what the property will look like based on the concept plan from what we saw here, as well as the building's orientation and the product as far as materials on the exterior. So the applicant, once again, is looking to provide stone, stucco, and masonry. So 100% masonry type product. If it wasn't under the regulations in here, it doesn't necessarily have to be those materials, but this will tie that down to where those regulations within this, if this is approved, to be what you generally see here, is what this is going to do, along with some other regulations that are within that in order to make a better product, I guess, on the ground for you. Since we took a look at the location map and we saw what's around there, we do have, the property is surrounded by residential as well as businesses, and so what you have, when we take a look at this from a future land use plan map, it's consistent with the comprehensive plan in that it does provide for a variation of uses or compatible uses within the area. And so technically you can take a look at that and say this is a transition of uses. And when you take a look at the community retail aspect of that as far as a designation from the comprehensive plan, it meets the intent of the comprehensive plan. But once again, this is something else that needs to be pointed out in here is the PD itself. The code of ordinances requires a PD to be on a minimum of 1 acre for a residential property. Now, once again, with this being flexible zoning, this is less than 1 acre, and so that is something that is a discretionary decision as well for the recommendation forwarded from you to the city council, and it's discretionary to the city council for the approval of this being on less than 1 acre. And so we've included that as a condition of approval for the case itself. We did send out 14 notices to all property owners within 200 feet. We received 2 notices this afternoon. I put those on your desk today. And essentially what those notices indicate is traffic, and they look at this as an apartment complex, which it's not. It is a single family attached townhome product. They look like apartments, but they're not apartments. But the one thing that I did want to point out with this also is the zoning, with it being general retail, allows for apartments by right. And if the applicant wanted to build apartments on this, we wouldn't even be here. They could just do it by right. So what the applicant is looking for is a better product to be on the ground. And so that's what he's putting forward, but I just wanted to let you know that's what that the notices are there for as well. With the 14 notices, we got the 2, like I said, that are in front of your desk. With that, I'm available for any questions that you may have, and this is the public hearing.
I'm confused about general retail allowing for apartments. Somebody's gonna have to explain that to me. I don't see apartments as general retail, or maybe that's just a conception I have.
Absolutely, that's a valid question, and so every city has zoning, or every city that has zoning, I should say, has different uses within different zones. And so here you have, residential, commercial, general retail, light industrial, and in our zoning, what it has are a list of uses that are allowed within each particular zone. And essentially what it means is, if you take the more restrictive zone here would be your agricultural zone. That's a protected area. And then next to that is single family 1, single family 2. What that means is, whenever you take a look at zoning, is if you have a single family home, you want to protect that home from other larger uses that have less restrictions, such as light industrial. You don't want a light industrial in a single family zone. But what our zoning allows for is to have a graduation of uses, and single family is not allowed in general retail. However, when we take a look at that, the general retail does allow for a multifamily or apartment use by right, not by specific use permit, but by right. And so we do have a mix of uses that have a more restrictive element that can be built in a less restrictive zone. Like apartments can be in a general retail, they can be in a commercial as well too. So there's that is, I hope that answers the question. It's confusing, but our zoning code allows for that.
So in general retail, you could build apartments there?
That is correct. Anywhere in the city that has zoned general retail, you can build apartments by right.
What about commercial?
In commercial, I'm gonna have to check commercial. I think I said commercial, but I think I'm gonna have to check that. I'm not absolutely sure if it's allowed in commercial, but in general retail, it is absolutely allowed by right. I should have brought my chart.
The other concern I have is that area, if you can show that area map again, as they have become available, and you commented there's a dental office up there too, and there's a ear, eye, nose, throat guy across from the hospital on the next street. As those residential or homes or whatever become available through someone purchase it, and demolition, perhaps a loss through a fire, for whatever reason, they tend to go commercial up there. I think my first thought is that primarily is because whoever wants to be close to the hospital, simply because those are doctors' offices and that sort of thing. The other thing is the other lots on that particular block have all gone commercial, with a bank, the Sonic, the Popeyes. There's a lot up on the front that I think the Guaranty Bank owns. That they anticipated building a bank there at one time, and then the savings or the credit union, I think, wound up buying it in the end. That's on that corner, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So it's up here. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So, in the 20-year plan, or the 2000, whatever this long-range plan is, which I'm probably the only person here that doesn't know anything about it. Does this fit that long-range plan? Will this fall into? In other words, I guess I'm concerned about us using a piece of property that a commercial firm or application with interest in the hospital could go there. Now, I realize the bank's right behind it and Popeyes, neither of which you probably need a bank when you get out of the hospital, and Popeyes might put you in the hospital. I don't know. But I'm just, I'm surprised that's not commercial.
Okay, it's general retail, right? That's what it's zoned right now. And do we have the stuff for general retail? I mean, the whole, you sent that out one time, didn't you? Like, everything, the zoning. Yeah, because, I mean, it's kinda like, Ronnie, it's kinda like reading the Bible. They start out and say general retail, and then they go back and then they'll refer you back to saying, well, these are accepted uses, and then it gives you another zoning deal, and then, then it tells you what all you can put in it. Yeah, if you'll send that again,
Would it be, uh, can you do this, can you table this until next session? I mean, this doesn't have to be acted on tonight, does it? They're not breaking ground tomorrow, I wouldn't think.
So they're not breaking ground, however, this is a scheduled public hearing. And I don't have an attorney present to find out if, what would happen, because you would need to forward a recommendation to.
the council.
To the city council, and I don't know what the procedure is here for that, if that can be tabled until then. But I can assure you that that apartments are allowed by right in the general retail district. The applicant's request meets the comprehensive plan simply because it does, under the community retail, which is the designation for the comp plan, allows for residential uses. Is there a specific use that you're looking for in the list of land uses that maybe I can help you with?
Use, it's just that for some, I think of that as commercial because of everything that's around it. Now, when I say everything that's around it, the residence across the street certainly isn't commercial, but the trend is when that residence becomes unusable, or someone buys it, and the first thing they do is tear it down, which is what's happened to several pieces of property up there. It won't be residential long, So I'm just trying to get in my mind how that property is going to fit in, because that other property is going to go commercial. That's not. I don't think it's going to stay residential.
And I understand the question, yes, and I took a look at the properties and the reason I have to give you a map that's a little closer so you can see what's actually surrounding here, but when you pull this out, there's residential all the way down here. There's probably 20 properties you can see up here as well as residential, so there is residential in this area. And here, yes, you are correct. Is there, if one of these properties that are currently single family homes on a commercial lot, yeah, could that change to a commercial? Absolutely could, and if it was demolished for whatever reason, they couldn't go back to a residential use because a single family home would not be allowed in the commercial district.
Okay, the property that the guy on the school board has they just demolished that, some apartments up there, Buddy Blue. Okay, so that then was being demolished, and residential house will not go back there. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Right, but it won't be residential.
That's correct. The yellow is single family, and the orange right next to it is neighborhood services. And so that could be small office. I think that may be where the doctor's office is located as well. So, but the 2 or 3 properties here, I believe, are small office. I think you have another small office over here as well too, doctor's office or dental office.
What we're talking about tonight is on general retail, correct?
Yes, sir. The property that we're talking about right now is zoned currently general retail.
Okay. So if the owner wanted to build apartments there, he could without a hearing, without a zoning.
Right, that's correct. Yeah, they could, by right, they could build apartments there tomorrow.
Well, if we, recommended, that you go to this, PD three, or stop it from being, general retail,
Just so the property, when you make the zoning change, the zoning for that property now will be what the PD standards have in here and what the concept plan that you see here, that's what would go on that property. If someone else wanted to come in, say something happened and they didn't build this, and they didn't want to build this, then they would have to go back through another zoning change.
Okay, so, in other words, that PD three sticks you to this right here, what you're presenting to us.
That's correct. It would, whatever goes on that property would have to be built according to whatever the standards are that are written in here for that property, and that's just a conceptual idea of what that would be. Once we go through, if this is approved, then the site plan, landscaping, lighting, all that will come to this board for review of that as for approval. So if this is approved, you'll see this again in more specific detail. But to answer the question, as far as zoning, the zoning for that property will no longer be general retail should this be approved. It will be for this specifically.
Right, and if, say, something happened and he didn't build it, it would have to be rezoned back, or somebody would have to build it just to these standards right here. In other words, they can't change.
That would be correct. Yes, that is correct.
Okay, it's my understanding then, if it's approved, he's obligated to build this, not apartment. Is that correct?
That would be correct.
Okay, as a purely personal, I'd rather have a homeowner next to me as a partner. That homeowner's invested in it, the apartment gone next month, you know.
And just to let you know, whenever any applicant comes in and sits down with staff, we go over this with them, and they know they can build apartments on here by right. They did not want to build apartments. They wanted to do the townhomes to be able to sell the townhomes individually.
I guess he could rent them, but I mean, more than likely he's gonna sell them. I mean, yeah, I mean, he could rent them, but I mean, a one-story.
These would be a two-story product. Lower floor, I believe, 900 or 600 square feet, and the upper floor is 900 square feet. So two-story product, 1,500 square feet of air-conditioned space.
So it's a two-story. Okay.
If you would like to see the land use chart on this small phone, I can show you the land use chart. Okay.
Okay. And what you got described here is Exhibit C. That's pretty well what you were provided by
The Exhibit C is the plan development regulations that the applicants agreed to, and so will give the basis for the regulations on how that would be developed.
Okay. All right, has anybody got any more questions? Mr. Gonzalez? Okay, do I hear a motion to open the public hearing? I'm sorry. There's nobody here to make a statement? All right, we'll close the public hearing. Hear a motion to change the zoning from general retail to planned development district number 3 for townhouse development.
I make a motion, we, approve the change to PD three.
Here a second.
I second.
All in favor, say aye. Okay, we go to number 2. FP 2023-06, discuss and consider a request from Dr. Keaton Shaw on behalf of DK Skyrise LLC for the approval of a final plat for the Skyrise Villas addition, formerly known as Northridge Villas, being a tract of land located in the Betty Merchant Survey, abstract number 358, Titus County, Texas, and in the city of Mount Pleasant, and being all of the called 6.35 acre tract and all called 1.5 acre tract 2 conveyed to DK Skyrise LLC in a deed known as instrument number 2021-0595 of the public records of Titus County, Texas, and generally located south of I-30 between North Jefferson Avenue, Business 271, and Industrial Road, FM 1402, City of Mount Pleasant, Texas, and take any action necessary.
Sir, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and y'all probably recognize this property. This is the one that's going to be, it's located next to Northridge Church, which is located right here. You got I-30 here, North Jefferson Avenue on this side, on the west side, and then on the east side is Industrial Road, and this is Washington. So you've got the property that's located here. As you may recall, this is a two-phase development. The applicant is going to build 132 apartments overall. Phase 1 consists of 72 apartments, and so they're looking for a final plat so that way they can start the construction on the property. With that, I'm available for any questions. This does meet all the requirements of the subdivision ordinance as well. I should point that out, and staff does recommend approval of the final plat. With that, I'm available for any questions.
Anybody got any questions for? Any questions? Good? Okay. All right.
Thank you.
This will open the public hearing. Oh, it's not a public hearing, okay. All right, do I hear a motion to, what are we doing here? Accept the final, is this the final plat? For approval of the final plat for the Skyrise Villas addition, formerly known as Northridge Villas.
I make a motion, we approve the final plat.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, number 3, Planning Director's Report.
Once again, thank you. I don't have anything to report, but I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
No, thank you. All right, I hear a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor say aye. We're adjourned.